We had some significant volatility in the bond market early. Somebody is dumping a large amount of U.S. Treasuries on a regular basis, moving the yield. Some of it was from like 4.3 or 4.4 up to over 5% on the 2-year. 30-year was a little less volatile than that, but still pretty significant. Big moves in the bond market is not a good thing. When you're seeing jumps that are 5, 10, 15, 20% in a day, that means there's instability in the bond market and things are not going well. Also, some huge volatility in Japanese bonds today. So again, these are like canaries in the coal mine, alongside the private credit funds here in the U.S. shutting down, Spirit Airlines filing for bankruptcy after being blocked for the merger. Sad to see that. I think JetBlue is honoring some of their tickets. So if you did have a Spirit Airlines flight booked in the next week, I think JetBlue and some of the other large airlines are honoring those tickets for people just to, help those people out for one, and then also gain some customers on their side. And then, Delta also, I don't know if they're having liquidity issues or what's going on, but they canceled like 130 something flights today. So, that's here just domestic in the U.S. We did have a bunch of back and forth last night in the Middle East. Iran has attacked some of their neighbors, and now UAE and a few others, setting gas plants on fire, attacking, infrastructure. The U.S. is saying that they're escorting people through the strait while missiles are being continue to add pressure to the Bank of Japan to have to raise interest rates. And they don't have a formal meeting here for monetary policy in May. Neither does the Fed. Their next two monetary policies are going to be, or the meetings are going to be in June. I don't think they can make it that far. I really do think that we're going to see some monetary policy because they're going to have to act. And, with the OCC's oversight on stablecoins, they got a lot of red lines back in comments. It looks like they're going to be able to take those back and then put forth actual regulation for the banks in the near future on how to be able to issue stablecoins, the yields that they're going to be able to provide. And with that, I think that's going to be the green light again, like I've talked about, for them to be able to unwind the reverse carry trade. Until we have, the ability to drive demand domestically for treasuries here in the U.S., it would be a very bad scenario, bad scenario, if we saw the reverse carry trade unwind and all of those treasuries, U.S. treasuries, rotate into Japanese bonds. Well, the people that are holding the U.S. treasuries there. Again, with the big yield spikes that we saw today for the Bank of Japan, like very unusual. And it wasn't like it was just a glitch like one time. It was like multiple situations where the yield was moved significantly. So I don't know who's dumping treasuries in order to be able to remain solvent or, get out of the bond market before there's a problem, but it seems like there's going to be a problem in the not too distant future, that the reverse carry trade is going to unwind at scale, and it's going to be trillions of dollars, if not tens of trillions of dollars in liquidity that gets sucked out of markets in a very short period of time. So all those things happening. Again, I expect other announcements here while we're at consensus. You had the DTCC come out today and say that they will be tokenizing the stock market in July this year with select partners. They named 50 plus partners that they're going to be using and partnering with to be able to facilitate the tokenization of the stock market. You do need instant settlement live before they tokenize the stock market. So the DTCC does back-end settlement between the clearinghouses and the brokers. I've talked about for a long time that XRP would sit uniquely in that position to be able to provide liquidity for that settlement if it was a high enough price, because of the primary settlement mechanism for R3, who worked with the DTCC to finalize Project Ion in 2022. They need that in a position where they can use it. So expecting a BlackRock ETF sometime. You guys always want the predictions and you want time frames on stuff, so I'm going to give you one. I expect a BlackRock ETF for XRP Q2 of 2026. So, like I said, they've got to have it in place before July, before they tokenize stocks, in my opinion. And again, everything aligning here for 2026 to be a very good year for XRP.